hospital, just visiting my brother in the hospital. He got hit by a car a few weeks ago, and he's doing a lot better, but he had another surgery on his arm today, one of his arms. He still needs multiple surgeries on legs and arms, and but he's doing a lot better, and they moved him to a regular room, so praise God, he's hanging in there. But I just had a long talk with my mom, and it got me thinking. I was just trying to tell her all the stuff I've been struggling with lately, and the struggle has been real. Nothing bad's happened, but nothing really good has happened either. And I think that the disappointment, that's what I want to talk about today. Disappointment, it can wreck us. It can absolutely wreck us. I think last year, I told you in the last video, the last few weeks I've been going back and watching all those vlogs I made when I walked across LA, and man, I was like, who is that girl? Where did she go? Where is that girl? After this past year, I'm telling you, because the walkabout was 3 months, and then I was landed at Magic House for 8 months, and then I went to Lori's to Eli Home for 5 months, and each phase of that journey did something totally different to me. Like the first phase, the walkabout phase, the 3 months of walking, that was intensive. That was perseverance. It was determination. It was faith, blind faith, just believing God, like, yes, he's going to open up a door. But I had all these presumptions before I left, right? Like I had all these presumptions of what would be behind this magical door that I was looking for. And based on my season before that of having my own ministry, I thought, well, I'd be doing ministry, and who knows what I thought, but I had a lot of presumption. And so when I got to Chiefs, really it was just me being a disciple of Chief and like doing his thing and learning from him and just sitting back, and I really nothing it was a pruning process, and I was being humbled, and I was being confronted with myself in ways that I needed to be confronted with myself, because I had never lived with anyone, and in this place I was living with 11 other people full time, nonstop, and it was chaotic and uncomfortable, and it was just unbelievably hard, because I'm so used to being alone, and I'm so used to spending a lot of alone time. And so Chief ran his ministry like 24/7. Like we were always doing something from the crack of dawn until late at night, like always on the go. And then you're living with all these people, sharing one bathroom and one kitchen, and just constantly up each other's butts, like constant like chaos, and there's drama in the house, and people that don't like me, and I don't like myself during this time, and and it's way out of my comfort zone. I mean, the walking was out of my comfort zone, but this was to the next level of out of my comfort zone, because at least during the walk I was alone, and I could do my own thing and be my own boss, and I like that. I enjoy that. But God is like, nope. I'm gonna make you really uncomfortable. And I needed it, and it was good for me, and I'm grateful for it, and it changed me in ways that needed to be changed. And then the last part of the journey, I was at Eli Home, and I was helping create this nonprofit for homelessness, and the day we launched is the day that God told me to come home. But during that time, I was able to work out every day. I had my own room, some privacy, although I was still living with a bunch of women, and running a battered women's shelter for women and children. So I was still like around and doing communal living and that sort of thing. But I was way more in my comfort zone, because I did have some privacy, right? I didn't have like people in my room, so I did have private time, and I could go to the gym every day, and I had a little bit more freedom, and so and a little more time for myself, so that was more comfortable. But in that place I kind of got renewed and just like refreshed. But when God brought me home, it's just been like back to normal life, and I feel that lack of, I actually miss being around people 24/7, and I have like this longing in my heart for that, and I actually miss it way more than I thought I ever would or could, and I'm battling a little disappointment, because really I think more because I don't have any more presumption. I didn't know what would happen when I came home. I kind of just was like, I'm coming home, and I was home. I had a dream I was coming home, and then within the month I was home. And so it was a surprising, like, okay, now we're home. And so I wasn't planning on coming home, and because I didn't have any time to have presumption of what would happen when I got here, I just came home and not expecting to come home. So I wasn't planning on coming home. And so when I got home, I'm like, what do I do now? You know, I just don't even know what to do, and I don't know what to expect, and I don't have a word from the Lord right now, and I'm just kind of like existing, and I don't like it, you know, and I'm just kind of doing life as normal, right? Normal life stuff, but everything about it feels weird to me, because I don't have like an assignment, you know, and I don't have like anything that a project I'm working on. I really like to work on projects, and I really like to like have my fingers in something, and something tangible, like something I can put my passions into, right? And so you kind of get a little disappointed when you don't have an disappointment. And so it can kind of wreck us a little bit, and it's okay to have seasons like that where you're not doing anything. And I have been able to spend time with the Lord, and I have been able to just spend time with my family and just my friends, and do all the things that I hadn't seen anybody in a year and a half. So it's been really nice to be able to catch up. But at the same time, I've been fighting a depression that I have never had in my adult life. I mean, like, since I've been born again. How about that? Because like when I was younger, I was depressed, but I would just numb myself with drugs and alcohol, and I wouldn't feel depressed anymore. But being depressed when you're sober is a whole different thing, and I've never encountered it before. I've never had feelings of hopelessness before, and knowing that Jesus is our hope, it's like, where is this coming from? And going back and watching these videos of the girl I was then, and I was so like determined and so passionate about finding this door, and nothing in me would quit, even though I wanted to quit so bad so many days. And I watched the videos, but I was also flooded with all these extra memories, because you know, not just the things that happened in the video, but when I was watching myself, I would remember other things that happened during that day or time, or where I was and what that was like, and those feelings that I was having, and I was just overwhelmed with like mixed feelings, because I was so proud of myself on the one hand for like everything that I accomplished, but also on the other side of that, I saw where I needed so much correction, and I knew, I saw the presumption I had, I saw the expectation that I had, that I knew was what was about to happen, that none of that was going to get met, and I also saw what was coming for me, right? Like, I was like, oh, shut up, girl, because you don't even know. Like, I'm complaining on day 20, and I'm like, you're gonna walk like 60 more days, just be quiet, you know? And so I was very proud of myself, of what I had accomplished, and able to endure and all that. But on the other hand, I thought of me now, and I don't have that yes in me anymore. I don't have that determination in me right now for anything, and like, I don't have that word from God that I'm hanging on to for dear life in this season. I don't have any of that, and I just was like, well, where's that girl, you know? And so sometimes God takes us on a journey to wreck us on purpose, because he wants to rebuild us. He wants to just smash all of our presumptions and do a work in us. And I felt like that's what he was doing. He was tearing me apart piece by piece, dismantling me and putting me back together. And I know it was all for a purpose, but I'm in the place of, I don't know what that purpose was for yet, and I'm grateful for everything he's done, but also I can't see what's coming, right? I don't have the foresight to know what's next. So I'm like, okay, that can't, so I'm battling these thoughts, right? Of like, well, why did I go through all that? What was it for? It's got to be for a purpose, and then you have the enemy speaking to you, and just, it's just warfare. It's just warfare, because really I have nothing to be ungrateful for. I have nothing to complain about. I have nothing to be upset about. I mean, I have everything to like be happy that God did a work in me, and I can be proud of that, because I know I feel the changes in my life and in my heart, and I know that anger in me is gone, that I was carrying, out of that hurt, that pain that I was carrying. I don't feel that anymore, and so if it was just for the work alone, then yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. But battling disappointment is really battling our presumption, because you can only be disappointed in yourself. You can never be disappointed in God, and so sometimes when we have an expectation that we have something built up in our mind of what should happen and it doesn't happen, then we're disappointed, right? But when I look back on what God had told me before I left, he fulfilled every word that he promised me when I left. And more than what he promised me. He took me from walking the streets of LA to living in Anaheim Hills, working for the former mayor in less than a year. And never did I pay one dime in rent the whole time I was gone. He provided for every meal, he brought me amazing friends, who are like family to me. Amazing life experiences that I could not pay for. Like, there's no place that I could pay for to have experiences like that. I did some amazing things last year. And so he did way more than what I even presumed in my mind that it would be, but what happens is we get our own presumptions about life, or what should have happened, or what could have happened, or what didn't happen. And we get disappointed from our own imagination, because it can't be God that disappoints us. And I think another thing that I was kind of battling was like coming back here and it's just normal life. It's like, I feel like I'm starting over again. I feel like I'm back to square one, and because I haven't seen what all that was for yet. It can feel like, man, this is an overwhelming task. I don't want to start over. But God's like, but you need to start over. You need to start over from scratch, because you're a new person, and you need to make new friends, and you need to do new things here, and not get back into that old routine or that old life that you had before, because this is a new day, and you are a new you, and this is a new thing. So it's okay to start over, because you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. But still, it can be like burdensome to feel like you're starting from scratch again, because when I left, I had my own place. I had a full-time ministry. I was so busy with that. I was so consumed with that. I had a life. I had friends. I had a church. I had 2 churches. And when I left all that behind, and I came back to nothing. So it was kind of disheartening to come back and know that, like, oh, I don't have a purpose. I don't have anything to do, and that's been a battle for me, because I'm such a person that needs something to do, but yeah, I think the answer to all of this is to just start back at the basics, start back with the time with the Lord, and start back with the things just do your daily thing, live your daily life, and build new friendships, go to new churches, and see what opens up, but my days of presumption have to be over, because the presumption is what leads to the disappointment, so I can't expect that I should know what should or shouldn't happen since I'm back, or what door should open or close, or all those presumptions that I had in California, that's sort of what wrecked me in California, was having those presumptions for a little while. And so coming back here, I think it's just best to go with the flow and see what happens. But yeah, disappointments are really caused from our own imaginations of what we think should happen, instead of being utterly, completely content with what did happen, and looking at all the wonderful miracles that God did do, and it can be hard. I know, when He gives you a word and you want to run with that, and your imagination goes wild at what you think that will be, but I can promise you, it's hardly ever what we think it's gonna be. A million times, 1,000,000% of the time, it's never going to be what you think it's going to be, but it's always going to be exactly what you need, and when you need it, and how you need it, because that's what brings Him glory. He loves to smash your presumptions. He loves to not fit inside your box that you created for Him. You know, He likes to astound you, and His ways are so much higher than ours. And a lot of times we don't understand until we are looking back on the other side of it. But in the trial, we never understand. We never understand what it's for. But looking back, oh, that all makes sense, Jesus. So anyway, if you have some presumptions, if you have some disappointment, it's probably coming from some presumptions. And so smash those presumptions and let Jesus surprise you. And that's my word for you today. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.